You're horrible! You're an irredeemable monster!
Oh, what took you so long, idiot? Ugh.
Jack Horner, oh man, he is such a fun character. Now, I usually don't watch modern movies, and especially make videos on them, but I kept on seeing so many memes, so many really funny memes, so I gave it a shot, and I absolutely enjoyed it. But after I got done watching the movie, one character that was constantly on my mind was Jack Horner. I mean, even edits are being made of it. People really enjoy this guy. But not too many videos are actually talking about him or analyzing him, so that's why I came up with this video. And I think it's important because a lot of people do not understand these characters, what makes them so good, or why people would even be drawn to them, because it's important to understand this. We are not drawn voluntarily to characters, it just happens subconsciously. And this is important to understand, not just for Jack Horner, but for other characters like Jack Horner. But now I know a lot of people will be thinking, why would you like Jack Horner? Why would you be naturally drawn to Jack Horner? He is an evil sociopath and possibly a psychopath. Why would anyone be attracted to this character? Why would anybody relate to this character? Is it because they're evil themselves? Are they serial killers? Are they murderers? Are they psychopaths? Of course not. So why? Well, that's what we'll be covering in this video. We're going to be covering Jack Horner and characters like him, because when you understand this character, you're understanding characters that are like him also. Now, I know this is a cartoon, but from cartoons, if they're well made, just like fairy tales, which is also what this movie was inspired by, you can learn a lot from. And I think it's important to study this. And since it's really popular right now, it's the best time to discuss it. And once we understand him and characters like him, we can understand why people are drawn to them, or just characters in general, and what it says about those people. But first part is appearance. Jack Horner is a very tall and a very muscular and a very big-cheeked character. Couple this with his past. When he looks back and he thinks about little Jack Horner, he's filled with rage. He hates it. He is disgusted by it. He loathes it. Because look at little Jack Horner and compare it to Big Jack Horner. Big Jack Horner has fans. He has people that admire him. The people who stole for them, they know about him. He is famous now. While little Jack Horner had none of that. Little Jack Horner had no status, had no power, and he was physically weak. All of which he changed because little Jack Horner
Didn't have any magic. He was a pathetic, buttered baker's boy. I'm Big Jack Horner.
He is this huge guy that hated being weak, and he changed that. But he has huge cheeks, and he has that same haircut. And in my opinion, I could be wrong because this is simply my interpretation of the film, I would say that represents that he obtained power, he obtained what he desired, but he never matured inside, and we're left with this uncanny look between a child and adult, this man-child. Combine that with his extreme selfishness. It makes tons of sense. His selfishness isn't even about self-preservation and putting himself above other people. It's simply that nothing else matters other than what he wants and what benefits him. I mean, even in the film, when all of his men died, what happened? He just laughed it off. Though I would not say that this is simply sadistic of him. He is very evil, he is very sociopathic, but I would not say that he goes out of his way to hurt and harm people or cause pain to other people. Maybe if they annoy him and he wants to exact revenge, but he's not going to go out of his way. What he does is he uses people as stepping stones. He uses them to get what he wants because he's so goal-oriented, so ambitious, so selfish, that he doesn't care about other people, and he's willing to remove everybody from his path that may stand against him, and he will use people to get what he wants regardless of what happens to them. This isn't to say he's proactively evil and he's trying to harm other people, but rather, as Jiminy Cricket would say,
You know, I'm starting to think you don't appreciate the value of a life.
What? No.
he doesn't value human life. It's not that important to him. It's not important at all to him. Even the people who love and admire him, they mean nothing to him. That in combination with his extreme ambition, his goal is all of the magic in the world. That's pretty much all of the power in the world, you could think of it. And he plans ahead. He brought all of his magical devices with him to do whatever he needs. And the end result, combined with his dominance, his assertiveness, his ability to control other people, being physically stronger, more domineering, he is an extremely effective and ruthless leader. I mean, no matter what came up in his path, he just obliterated it. And he almost won at the end, and he would have if it weren't for his hubris. Although he is extremely evil, I mean, that's inspiring in itself. Sure, he is evil, and sure, he takes it too far. He is the epitome of the extremes that we should not go. The extremes of valuing yourself so much that you don't care about anybody else, not even the people who love you. But that persistence and that goal-driven energy, that ambition, it's honestly inspiring. It's actually refreshing compared to what we're presented in the modern day media today. Compare that to many of the modern heroes today. And I say modern because this wasn't always the case. Many of these heroes, they're simply altruistic, they're extremely kind, much more submissive, and in essence just weaker. This is important to understand because characters, they have largely two main functions. They have more, but we're only going to be discussing these two right now, which is to inspire people, have people look up to them, and so that they can relate to them. And as a result, they try and have characters with different types of personalities and traits. But today, these traits that Jack has, which aren't actually bad in themselves, at least if they're not taken to extremes, are demonized today. They're seen as bad, they're seen as harmful today. If you're an ambitious individual and you want to climb the pyramid, you want to better your own life and prioritize yourself over other people, that is now seen as a bad thing. And as a result, these traits are commonly coupled with villains. Villains that also have huge vices and evils, such as Jack. Jack is a very good leader. He's a very effective leader. He plans ahead. He literally almost won. But he is evil. But that doesn't change the fact that these people who have those traits that aren't necessarily bad in themselves, they don't have a character to relate to. They don't have that character they can feel inspired by. All we are left today in the modern media are villains. When you remove that strength, when you remove that ambition from these heroes and you place them in villains, naturally what will happen is people will look up to these villains. People will think, oh, you're being edgy because that character's bad. Oh, you just want to be cool like him because bad guys are cool. No, absolutely not. We just don't want to be losers.
Thank you, Miss Parker, for having me. And thank you guys for having me.
We can't relate to this weak, fatherless child that cries all the time, that can't control his emotions. Of course we're not going to relate to these characters. It's stupid. And what we do with these people now, if you admire a villain, people will actually view you as a weird person now. What? When you play a fighting game, you don't play as the fatherless child? You play as the bad guy? What is wrong with you? You must be evil, is what they say. There must be something wrong with you. You're just edgy. And it took me a long time to realize and understand why it is we admire certain characters, because I was faced with this. I honestly thought that there might be something wrong with me. I must be evil because people are saying that this isn't natural, this isn't good. If you admire Jack Horner, it has nothing to do if you are good or bad. It's simply personality. It's simply ambition. The things we have vilified in the modern day media that are not bad. And in fact, they drive society. Without these things, we wouldn't have come so far. Taken to extremes, yes, they are bad. And what does it say for a person who enjoys these characters? What does it say about the person who loves and relates and enjoys that character that's fatherless, that constantly cries, that's weak? What does it say about them? It's because they're weak. They don't have that ambition. And honestly, if you're admiring those characters, I would do some introspection myself. But think, what characters do I admire? Create a list, and this is your homework assignment before the video ends. Create a list of all of the characters inside of your head. Think about the characters that you enjoy most, and think about, are they good? Are they bad? Are they strong? Are they weak? Or whatever it is that is consistent among all of them. Because you might, for example, really enjoy the villains, but you're going to have heroes that you also enjoy. That means that being good and bad is not the consistency. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. So you can break it down and figure out more and more, what is it exactly that you admire and you love so much from these relatable and inspiring characters? Think about that, and it will also reveal what type of person you are. Understand this. And you can also use these things to understand other characters and other people. It will really help you out in the end. But anyways, if this video does well, maybe I can go into some more reviews or character analysis videos. Anyways, I hope this video helps you. I hope you actually understand yourself better from this video now, regardless of if you like Jack Horner or not. And if you enjoyed this video, you might want to check out one of my other videos. I just made one on fatherless behavior, or if you're not up for another video essay, I also make animations. Here's my best animation so far, you should check it out. Anyways, take care. Have a good one.